Villa Park on the Friday night football. They're crawling over the line for Champions League qualification, it seems. Another bad defeat, as I mentioned. Arne Slot, though, expects to be in charge of the club next season. But then, overnight, a thinly veiled parting shot from a certain Mohamed Salah. We can look at it now from the Sunday Telegraph. Now Salah throws Slot under bus in stinging post. And he talks about bringing back heavy metal football to Liverpool, Jackie. I wonder who he's talking about there. And that post has been liked by several Liverpool players. Arne Slot is very confident that he's going to be in charge next season. Do you share that confidence?
Well, yes, at the moment it does look that way, but Mo Salah's doing his best to try to make his life as difficult as possible, isn't he? They clearly don't see eye to eye. That's pretty clear from his rare moment of talking to the media midway through the season when he made his point clear, saying the club had thrown him under the bus, but Slot probably feels he's been thrown under the bus now. So Salah is an absolute god in the eyes of the supporters, and he's clearly playing on that to make sure that his manager is under even more pressure than usual. The fact that it's been liked by the players, of course, you know, how much of that is them themselves liking it, who knows? But and also, which elements of the post are they liking? They could be liking the fact that, yes, they're not playing the kind of football the fans deserve. You would like that. But then we're not playing heavy metal football, having a dig, saying, well, this guy's not Jurgen Klopp, is he? Are they liking that? We don't know. We could read so much into it. Really unhelpful for Slot. I think the supporters who adore Salah just want to give him the best send-off possible. Clearly, Slot would love to be able to say what's going on behind the scenes from his perspective. He's already said in an interview, I'd love to tell you what I really think, but I can't. As managers can't. So much more goes on behind the scenes when players are misbehaving.
I think they can.
Behaviour.
Well, just say it. He's called it on, though, hasn't he, Salah? I think this is the point. Listen, the classy thing to do is just to say nothing. But I think Slot, for his own well-being and to defend his club, needs to come out and say what he really thinks about Mo Salah now.
He's not going to now. He's going to have this final send-off. He's not going to go, he's really unprofessional and he's been bang out of order.
He's called it on, hasn't he?
Well,
he's called it on. I mean, that's war. It's a declaration of war, isn't it?
Well, that's what Mo Salah's been really clever here, because he knows that he has the fans on his side. The majority of fans are on his side. He's a club legend. He's won everything at Liverpool. And while there still remains a respect for Arne Slot, I think that's diminishing. That a lot of the fans no longer have faith in Arne Slot. His football, the results.
He's going to come out fighting, though, isn't he?
He has, yeah, but I think in that scenario next week that Salah's final game, it's a losing battle for Slot, isn't it? It's almost Salah's called on to say, right, I'm going to have the mosaic on the Kop next week, I'm going to have the big send-off. Dare you drop me? Dare you not play me in my send-off? And I'm sure Arne Slot would love not to play me.
I'd drop him.
I think what Salah's done here, he's done exactly what Cristiano Ronaldo did at Man United when he was trying to force his way out. He took an Erik ten Hag and made some really negative comments. That was the Piers Morgan interview. Yeah. And he ended up leaving the club. And that did taint his reputation at Man United. It still does. I mean, Man United fans no longer sing his name. I don't think we're at that stage with Mo Salah yet, but he's got to be careful. He's getting there because he's disrespecting the manager, so he's disrespecting the club in many ways. And ultimately, Mo Salah hasn't performed this season, so he's earned the right in the past, but he's not earned the right this season.
He actually said in that post, he said the bare minimum is Champions League, and I'll do everything I can to ensure that happens.
Well, fair enough, but he's not scored the goals or put in the performances this season that merited that. And I think obviously
a massive pay rise, yeah.
Yeah, he's had everything in his favour. So Mo Salah could have done more this season to help Arne Slot, to help his team. And also, he talks about heavy metal football. He's not been playing that this season. He's not been playing it for a while because he doesn't run. He doesn't put the work in defensively that Jurgen Klopp would have demanded. So if he was playing in a Jurgen Klopp side right now, he'd have been dropped by Jurgen Klopp.
By the way, Jurgen Klopp said he stopped playing heavy metal football anyway, didn't he? He wanted more. He said he couldn't carry on playing like that. He changed his style. He didn't even like the phrase heavy metal football at the end, did he? I mean, he wasn't something that he really bought into either by the end. I think it's a really, really cheap shot. I think it's really unfair. If I'm the club, I'd double down now. If I had any doubts about sacking Arne Slot, he's definitely staying.
But I think it's almost like Salah wants to take him down with him.
Of course he does. That's why he tried to throw under the bus. He tried to throw Slot under the bus with that mix zone stuff against Leeds. Yeah. This is his second bite at it, isn't it? And it's like the timing stinks, and I think it's really making it all about himself. And I think if you are the player that you should be and have been for Liverpool, you show a little bit more class than that. And I think that if you're Liverpool as a club, if you had any doubts about Slot, they've gone now.
What about all the other players who've liked this post? Because
yes, that's an issue. That's an issue, and I'd speak to them about it. I say, I would actually sit them down and speak to them about it. What is it about this post that you like? Tell me. Is it just the fact that you should be playing better, or is it against the manager? And I would say to them, the manager is here to stay. get on with it.
It's not a very Liverpool way to do things either. I mean, some clubs have a way of doing things, and Liverpool tend to keep things under wraps a little bit more in-house. You know, other clubs might have a bit more noise around them, and Liverpool have different kinds of noise. But in terms of respecting the club and remembering who you play for, Liverpool are, you know, one of the biggest clubs in the world, and they're an institution in many ways. And
You take on Nottingham Forest live on Super Sunday at lunchtime, and 1 point would guarantee a third place finish for United this season, and Michael Carrick seems to have got that permanent job. We can go to Old Trafford right now and join our reporter Daniel Khan, who's got a special guest with him and the morning's newspapers as well. Daniel.
Yes, good morning, Dharmesh. Good morning to everyone in the studio. Welcome to Old Trafford this morning. As always, we've got some croissants, of course. Last home game of the season here at Old Trafford, as you mentioned. I'm joined by Stephen Ralston, Manchester Evening News, Manchester United reporter. Lovely to see you, Stephen. First of all, how are you doing this morning?
Pleasure to be here, Dan. Lovely end of season vibes, isn't it? The sun it's just come out. The rain hopefully will stay off, Manchester rain, and hopefully we're going to have a really good day. Casemiro's farewell, Michael Carrick's final game at Old Trafford, just for this season though.
There's a lot to get through, isn't there, today at Manchester United. Now, let's start with the Sun. Samuel Luckhurst, headline here, you can see half of it, Take an Ego trip. Michael Carrick talking about how they've really removed the ego from the squad, really, but also a bit of ego is some good news in a squad. But I think the interesting thing in part of this piece, Stephen, is expecting Michael Carrick to be announced, or an extension of his current contract as Manchester United head coach for the next few years. First of all, your reaction to that news, and how impressed have you been by Michael Carrick since he arrived in January?
Fantastic news, really, Dan. Obviously, he's made a wonderful impact since coming into the football club in January. Let's not forget, Ruben Amorim did leave them in a decent position, 6th in the Premier League. They were well placed to return to Europe, but I had a feeling they'd probably sneak through the Champions League back door. But with Carrick, they've come through the front door and they've arrived at the party very early. Won 10 of his 15 games, losing just twice. He's been fantastic, exceeded expectations. The players are on side, the fans are incredibly happy, and we see ourselves here, don't we, Old Trafford? The lift he's given the football club is being fantastic. So he thoroughly deserves the job. Obviously, it'll be 2 years with that 12-month extension. It's formality now. Yeah.
Absolutely, and he's going to address the crowd after the match, probably expecting an announcement maybe around then. You mentioned Ruben Amorim. Yes, Amorim left United in a decent spot, but think of the mess after that Leeds news conference when we were at Ellen Road. There's also maybe some disharmony, Kobbie Mainoo not starting. They took some adjusting to his tactics. So talk to me about what Carrick has actually done with his backroom staff and the impact they've had. I
think the backroom staff have been incredibly important. We look at Steve Holland there, vast experience with England and Chelsea. And when I spoke to Mason Mount just down at St George's Park recently, and he said he's so special. I don't think people realise what Steve Holland does in the background. You've got Jonathan Woodgate there, who's at Real Madrid, incredibly articulate with the players, can speak Spanish. Casemiro mentioned that as well, which obviously helps, and Diaz himself. Let's not forget Travis Binion as well, who was within the academy. Yeah, he's stepped up, he's done a brilliant job. And Johnny Evans. So you've got a real blend there of skill sets and personalities within the backroom staff, which has helped get these results. And Carrick's demeanour, I love it. He's very disarming, isn't he? I mean, in press conferences, he doesn't really give us much, does he? But I really like how he's just so calm in his manner. I think he really just looks at ease with himself. And he said that after the Liverpool game. He said it just feels natural. And it seems natural, doesn't it, Dan, with Carrick at this football club?
Absolutely. And his calmness, I think, is him personified, isn't it? Let's move on to the Mail on Sunday. Here you can see Chris Wheeler talking about Casemiro's swan song at Manchester United, his last appearance at Old Trafford today before his end of contract.